Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo slash Choosing Beggars. We have 7 stories in total for you guys today. The first story is posted by /huevoconweenie with the title of Free Trip to Disneyland. My friend met this girl online and moved her into the house, which she shared with her mom a month later. The new girlfriend promised to get a job and help with bills. Months passed and months turned into 4 years. She never worked, slept all days, and never contributed to bills. One day, my friend's new girlfriend sends me a text explaining that she's planning a big Disneyland trip for her and my friend as a surprise for her birthday. She went on about wanting to give my friend the best birthday present. Explained that she had made reservations at restaurants in the park but needed help. She wanted birthday donations to cover a hotel, food, souvenirs, spending money, and tickets to Disneyland's both parks. She took the initiative to calculate how much each of us would have to give her to cover expenses for their trip, about $120 each. Explained she didn't have any money, which is why she needed that amount. This text was sent to several friends. I explained that I couldn't do that. Several days later, the girlfriend posted a Facebook rant about how she planned the perfect day for her and her girlfriend but ruined by cheap friends and didn't understand why no one would fulfill her requests. Oh, and said we were bad friends. For your information, this happened several years ago towards the end of their relationship. I remember the incident when I ran into the ex this weekend. Well, I mean, why would other people have to pay for your birthday present? That you will give it to somebody else? Like, seriously, what's wrong with her? On to the second story written by /Sophia1188. I refuse to pay that amount. So I work at a pizza place in Canada and encountered this lovely lady earlier today. She called up and ordered a large pepperoni pizza. I told her the total, $15. Yeah, I know, but what can I do? And the following ensued. CB, no, I refuse to pay that amount for pizza. Me, okay, we will cancel your order then. CB, I still want the pizza and I'm on my way to get it, but I'm just informing you that I will not pay that amount. Me, well, that's the amount, and if you don't want to pay for it, then unfortunately I can't make it for you. CB, why not? I'll see you in 10 minutes. And then hangs up. So I stand there and wait for the lady to arrive, and when she does, I inform her that I did not make the pizza as I cannot just give free food away. She starts screaming at me. I offered to make her a small one, which was within her budget, but that wasn't good enough, so she just stormed out. Just would love to know if she goes to restaurants, grocery stores, hair salons, anywhere. And it's rude because, lady, I could have put a coupon on it for you if you hadn't been so rude from the start. Well, she does it because other places have caved into her behavior in the past, I guess. Good on OP for refusing to make the pizza after she said she wouldn't pay the price set by the company you work for. On to the third story shared by /SoBreezy74. CB buys over $200 in groceries and asks strangers to pay for it at checkout. This was told to us by stranger who happens to be a friend of my mom from high school. Let's call stranger Ted. Ted is in line at the supermarket behind CB waiting for his turn. CB has a full large cart with imported items. We aren't in the US, by the way, and her total comes to a little over $200. So she goes into her wallet and is shocked, and she didn't have enough cash on her. The logical thing would be to either cancel the transaction or get what you can afford, then proceeds to do the walk of shame. CB looks over at Ted and goes, in English, "This is really embarrassing, but could you help me out? We can discuss me paying you back when you finish checking out." Now, Ted recognized CB as an old classmate's ex-wife. She was known to be very mentally unstable, and though he would like to help, he refuses. CB goes on a rant on how he was so selfish not to help a lady in need and that he should be ashamed, and threw in a, "You have no idea who I am." In which Ted replied, "I know exactly who you are, CB. Tell me, what lunatic fills their cart up at the supermarket without knowing how much money is in their wallet and has the gall to ask a stranger to pay for the $200 tab?" CB continues to make a fuss to the point she is dragged out of the supermarket and even asks security, "Do I still get to keep my groceries? They're already scanned." To think she's the daughter of a politician's painful. TLDR, CB buys groceries but can't afford them. Gets kicked out of the supermarket but still wanted her groceries. Well, this one is definitely painful to read. Your brain cells just slowly die when you encounter people with no dignity or shame. On to the fourth story, shared by wslash get about 13th. Sure, you saved my life, but who's paying for my car? I've been a fireman for years and have seen way too many dumb people, but I thought I'd share one with you. Got called out to a MVA, motor vehicle accident. It was rollover and the driver was trapped, unconscious, and seriously hurt. We had to use jaws to cut her out of the car, then transported her to the hospital. A few weeks later, a woman walked into the station demanding to speak to someone with authority. That would be me. When I asked her if I could help her, she told me that she had been the driver of the vehicle, but I didn't have car insurance and now the car is garbage and I still owe on it. Who's going to pay for it? I told her that I was glad to see her walking around and I was happy she's okay. Don't give me that crap. Who's paying for my car? Who told you you could cut my car into pieces? So I said that it was nice that she came all this way to thank us and I'm happy to pass it on to the guys who risked their lives saving hers. Don't screw with me. That was an expensive car, and now it's garbage. I personally thought it was garbage after the first roll. I'll have you know that my sister's husband is the best lawyer in this town. So I gave her the address and the phone number of City Hall, and luckily for me, the alarm went off and I had to go and cut someone's cars apart so they could live all without their permission. Oh man, beggars like this woman are practically begging other people to just let her get herself out of the car to the hospital next time. On to the fifth story, shared by wslash graceamidstcalamity. My son and I experienced a CB in the wild. So no pictures, although in hindsight, it would have added to the story so you could get a full view of what I had to witness. So I'm in a pretty big grocery store, and they are notorious for never having enough lines open. Not Walmart though, good guess. And my son and I get behind this woman in a motorized cart. She's got a basket that filled to the brim, and she's slowly taking out one item at a time, very slowly and grunting like she's having a trouble. I tell my 8-year-old son to ask her if she could use herself to empty her basket, trying to teach him to help others. She agreed, and he quickly got everything out, but not before she told him exactly where on the belt to organize everything. While he's doing this, she cleans out her purse full of garbage and receipts, doesn't even turn to look me in the face, but hands it back to me saying, "Would you find a place to throw this away?" I tell her no, and that once she gets closer to the cashier, they have trash cans behind their counter. She wads it all up and then slams it back to her purse. After my son is finished, she was kind enough to offer my son a candy bar for his work. I told her, nah, it's okay, he can do that kind of stuff without being given something. She tells him to pick something anyway, and I then allow it. She gets up to the cashier, and they know her by name. Uh-oh. And there's even a woman on stand by helping to bag her groceries according to this woman's demand. When she goes to pay, she says the exact amount on her cart, $21.36. There isn't enough money on her food cart for all of the items she had packed into her cart. I feel bad for her, but not that much after her numerous bossy fits she's now had toward the cashiers. She has them backed up for over 20 minutes while she says, "Oh, I thought I had enough. I thought I had enough." While she rocks back and forth like a crazy for added effect. All or the lanes were about 10 people deep with full carts, and my stuff was now already on this belt. That's why I didn't move. Suddenly, she stops her act and turns around and asks my son, "Do you live in this town?" He answered yes. Cue her waving her hands to fan herself and loudly saying how it's so hot and she's got to wait for the bus, and she asked me, "You wouldn't mind taking me home?" I sternly informed her that no, that will not be happening. She then tried to say that she didn't know she was short on money and if my son can return the candy bar. At that, the other cashier went to the next registers, got her scanning gun, and proceeded to scan my items from the other belt. I asked while paying at the other registers, "I'm willing to give $20 toward her groceries to help, but only if this isn't something she does often." The cashier gives me that look like, "Please don't," and says this is her third time in that week and that people buy her groceries all the time. She definitely not short on food. I thank the cashier, bag my own item and my son his candy bar, and I leave from that hot mess. On the way out, the lady, who couldn't get out of her car to get her own groceries out, is now standing telling the cashiers how I'm rude and inconsiderate. Great learning time for my son since I told him helping someone is okay, but you're not obligated to keep helping them if they're just using people. Well, it sounds like she runs that scam a lot. Glad that OP checked with the cashier beforehand. On to the 6th story shared by Charyion. Had a friend who wanted to borrow expensive equipment repeatedly and demanded I explain myself when I said no. This happened about 10 years ago, but still bothers me. When I was still at university, I was pretty friendly with a guy. We weren't really close, more part of a very loose group. Still, he was nice enough, and when he asked me to borrow my video projector my dad owned for a special evening, I was glad to help. A year passed, and while we do still get along, I start to get a bit annoyed by his attitude. He always acted like he was doing me a favor by even talking to me, and had this tendency to have a bit of snide undertone when he talked to me, as if I was always the butt of some joke. I tried not to let it bother me, because you can't always be on the same wavelength as everyone around you. And then, he asked to borrow the projector again. Now at this point, I should point out at the time, it was an expensive piece of equipment and that it was very fragile. In other words, the exact type of device you don't want to be moving around if you don't have to. Plus, the lamps it used had a very limited lifespan and were also expensive to replace. And not only are those things difficult to reinstall, it really wasn't even supposed to be used for stuff like that, since my dad technically bought it for a professional organization he was part of, so it would be tax deductible. On top of that, I didn't care for the way he asked. Think, hey, we have one of those evening again, so I want to borrow that projector again. No, it would be great if, or would you be willing to, or even a please. While he knew full well the thing wasn't even mine, I had to go to my dad and ask him as a favor. So enough of this fair weather friend. I'm not bending the rules for him a second time. Still, I want to let him down easy if I could, since it's always best to avoid harsh words if you can, and we had friends in common. Phone call almost verbatim. Me, sorry, I can't let you that projector. CB, what? Why? Me, my dad doesn't want to. He bought it for organization, so technically it's theirs, and they have to be able to use it, so yeah. CB, so how does that work? Me, what? CB, I mean, it's in your house. Me, speechless. CB, so how does that work? Do they, have keys to your house? And they can just, come into your house and just, take it? Voice just dripping like incredulity. Me, I don't know, man. I guess if you believe you have some sort of right to the thing, I could pass you my dad and then you can explain to him why that is the case. CB, quickly realizing his situation. No, that's fine. So thanks anyway, I guess. Even now, I can still hear him say, can they just come into your house with this explain yourself, punk tone in his voice, while asking for a favor. Luckily, this is paired with the memory of suggesting he explain his entitlement to my dad. Props OP for handling the situation very smoothly. Also, you actually need situations like these to sort out fake friends. On to the final story shared by /StreetRatNamedDesire. I didn't realize that having candy was a requirement for every business. I'm seriously in shock right now that this happened. My office is appoint by only, so if I don't have a client scheduled, I keep the door locked. There are several counseling and law offices in our building, and the area has homelessness problem, so I would prefer people not wander in. A few minutes ago, a woman tugged on our door trying to get in. It's not unusual for someone to try to come in to ask for directions, so I decide to finish up my business call and let her in. And I'm hanging up, she proceeds to tug and pull and knock and ring the doorbell repeatedly. That should have been warning enough. Me, oh hello, sorry about the wait, what can I do for you? CB, what do y'all do? I give her a brief explanation of our company. CB, okay, why do you got your door locked though? I give her a brief, professional explanation about how we're not able to take walk-ins and that oftentimes our employees are here alone or in the back, so we keep it locked for safety reasons. CB, that's rude thou. Me, it's really just for safety precaution, but I apologize. What can I help you with today? CB, yeah, let me get some candy out of the basket for my kids. She pointed at the basket I have that is full of raffle tickets for a contest we're holding. Me, oh, I'm sorry, there's actually no candy in there. It's just raffle tickets. CB, don't lie to me. I'm shocked and kind of freeze for a moment before grabbing the basket to show her that there's no candy in it. CB, why didn't you have any candy? Me, I have in the past, but we go it through so fast that I can't just afford to keep a basket full. This is true, we're in a low-income era and people take fistfuls. CB, so what are you, cheap or just broke? I just sort of awkwardly chuckled. CB, you think this is funny? You got a basket, people are gonna think it's candy. That's false advertising. Me, well, we're not really advertising. CB, I could see it through the window. It was on display. You put that up there so I would come for your candy, but it's not candy. That's false advertising. And one of these days, someone is going to take you to court. My personal policy is that if anyone brings up legal action, I'm pretty much done with the conversation. Me, sorry about that. Was there anything else I could help you with today? CB, yeah, you can get me some candy for my kids. Me, I don't have any candy, sorry. Have a great day. CB, fine, give me some money for the vending machine. Me, I don't carry cash. CB, don't lie to me. Me, I'm not lying. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. CB, man, screw you. Me, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. CB, screw you. It's Christmas and you're gonna deprive my kids candy? At least have some darn candy canes. It's ducking giving seasons. What are you giving? No money? No candy? Screw you. I bet you'll have some candy when the Better Business Bureau comes after you. Me, okay, thank you, take care. CB, screw you, stuck up cheap mother ducker. You're gonna look forward to my review on Yelp. She left after that, but not before having her kids flip me off once they were outside. Classy. For your information, for those of you who think that I talked to her too long or was too nice, A, I work in a low-income era. I deal with crazy people often. I've learned that being nice and talking to them through a situation works better than telling them to screw off. B, the way I was raised is to be polite regardless of the situation. C, I have crippling anxiety and being rude makes me shake like a leaf. Well, now I can see why OP kept the door locked. But still, who does this? I would never go into a place and demand free candy, especially if I wasn't doing business there. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button and ring the bell, or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us, your friendly neighbor Doggo, your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.